Hey, podcast here. Frank Sasso here from New Pod City. Just want to let you know, August 3rd to the 6th, August 3, 4, 5, and 6 of 2021, we will be heading down to Nashville, Tennessee for the Podcast Movement 2021. If you want to come and join us in Nashville, Tennessee, August 3rd to the 6th, 2021, you can go to podcastmovement.com, buy your tickets, and be sure to type in New Pod City to receive a 30% discount off your ticket. That's right, New Pod City, all one word, no spaces, to receive a 30% discount right off your ticket price. We look forward to seeing you down there. Sasso out.
This is Jeff.
This is Brandon.
We're the Film Blurs. This episode is brought to you by...
If you're a digital video editor, you need Edius. Edius is all about giving editors the creative freedom to create any application environment. It is designed to put the power in the hands of the editor with incredible flexibility. Edius, editing refined. Edius allows multiple users to edit, work with content as it imports, and getting content to the user incredibly fast. Check out the latest version of Edius that just launched. Download a 30-day trial today at edius.net. Get your films on with the Blurs.
Once an idea has taken hold of the brain, it's almost impossible to eradicate.
Unpacking movies has never been more spot on, woke, fire, and just plain lit.
They are lit all the time.
So if you're unsure whether or not to plop down some cash for a film, check out the Blurs.
When a man with a 45 meets a man with a rifle, the man with a pistol is a dead man.
Rondo's got what plants...
It's got electrolytes.
You really only need to hang mean bastards. But mean bastards, you need to hang.
Don't say you weren't warned. Here's Brandon and Jeff.
Yo. Welcome back to another episode of the Film Blurs. I'm Jeff, a.k.a. He Who Remains.
I'm Brandon Norwood, a.k.a. the protagonist, still using battered wives and children to save the world, still cucking Lois Lane and breaking up with her after I get her pregnant, aka the true father of Joe's kids. Joe's still in that prison ICU, aka B. Wood the Magnificent.
Yeah. All right. So we're going to start off today's episode by reading another fan letter. This one is from Tanner. Okay. First off, this podcast is the shit. I've heard tons of podcasts to review movies. Yeah, but none of them even come close to the quality of content these guys bring. That being said, I got a question. Jeff mentioned this week that they received an actual cap shield from the movies. How the fuck did that happen? He offered no details, no explanation, no thank yous, nothing. What the fuck? Can he please explain how the hell that happened? Well, thank you, Tanner, for writing in. If I didn't thank anybody, that's because I was just so excited. But just like we have fans, you know, as individual fans, we have organizational fans. You know, one of our big fans, our big supporters is the ASC, so the American Society of Cinematographers, and they love what we're doing so much they decided to gift us these shields to just say, you know, thank you for doing the good work and helping spread cinema cheer around the world. So I want to give a big shout out to the ASC for giving us his shields.
Thank you.
And I want to give a shout out to Tanner for keeping us on our toes and actually listening and writing in.
Yeah, and big shout out to New Pod City and everybody who listens.
Dear sis.
Please rate and review us on iTunes, 5 stars, all that.
iTunes,
everybody.
Spotify.
Yeah, we're on everything though.
On everything.
Give us 5 stars, man.
Only 5 stars.
Yeah.
All right.
So
what are we talking about today?
Real quickly, they casted Batgirl. Yeah. We talked about this a little bit last week, off air. It's going to be written by Christina Hodgson. If you guys don't know who Christina Hodgson is, she's written Unforgettable, the Stalker Katherine Heigl movie.
The movie which I forgot.
She wrote some very bad Naomi Watts movie.
All right. Should I pull her up? Should I pull up the CV?
Yeah, because she also wrote Bumblebee, and I could say without a doubt that is her best written movie, and that is still cliched written. I mean, within the first 5 minutes, you know how that's going to end.
I did not watch Bumblebee because I am transformed out, and also if it's not Bay, I don't want none. All right.
Well, I mean, and What else has she written? She wrote Birds of Prey, and now she's writing The Flash, which I'm just like, Andy Muschietti's a great director, but...
So she wrote Shut In, Unforgettable, Bumblebee, Birds of Prey. She's The Flash, and now Batgirl. So, I mean, her CV is,
full mediocrity.
Yeah, pretty much.
At best.
Yeah, I mean...
Because a couple of those are true stinkers. I watched Unforgettable. That is...
Yeah, I mean, I had forgotten that movie existed.
I don't know what made everybody look to her to be the big franchise writer for female-driven movies. Well, The Flash is not a female-driven movie, so I'm even wondering about that. But it seems like WB really wants their DC stuff to live in just mediocrity and unforgettableness. Minus Suicide Squad.
We were having this conversation earlier, and Frank, our main man here at New Pod, he was like, so what are your feelings on Batman and Robin? And we were both like, I mean, it's a piece of shit. I mean, I used to hate it so very much. I hated the shit out of it. But now I'm older, and I know what WB is all about.
Yeah.
And so I can't be mad at Warner Brothers for doing what Warner Brothers does. It's like being mad at the dumb kid in your class for being dumb. You can't get mad at Skippy.
Right. So the woman they casted, her name is, I just had it. She's in The Heights, and that's her biggest high profile.
Leslie Grace.
There we go. Leslie Grace.
Yeah.
This is her biggest high profile gig. She was good in The Heights, but nothing that stood out to me where we would say keep putting her and stuff. She beat out Zoe Deutsch, who's excellent, and Haley Lou Richardson, who is also a great actress. If you haven't seen Columbus, please do.
Right. I don't know if this casting is because she showed something so remarkably interesting with the character in her casting, or if they casted her just because she was brown.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking, because we have a Latina Supergirl, which is fine. Now we got a Latina Batgirl, which is also fine.
And we got Michael B.
Jordan's Superman that he's producing and might star in coming soon. But I'm just like, it's kind of starting to feel like we're being pandered to, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Especially since, like I said, no offense to Leslie Grace, but Haley Lou Richardson and Zoe Deutsch, I could definitely see them both as Barbara Gordon. They've been in so much and been killing it in so much. Like, it's kind of weird now.
Right. And like, we're not shitting on you, Leslie Grace. What we are saying is we don't trust WB.
Right.
So if they made an excellent decision in casting you, it was a mistake. They casted you because you were excellent, but they did that by mistake because they live in mediocrity.
Yeah. So... do you have anything else you want to add to that?
I mean, no. I mean, you pretty much said all of it. I just feel when, like, the racial dynamics now are so sticky and everything like that and so complex. But it feels to me when a studio casts a person of color in a role that's originally played or portrayed as a non-person of color, it does seem like it's reactionary. It seems like it's pandering. It seems like, hey, you know what? Black Panther made a lot of money. Black people like seeing black people, and Spanish people like seeing Spanish people, and Asian people like seeing Asian people. Let's throw them all into the mix and get all this money instead of saying, you know what? This person brings an interesting dynamic to the character and will help propel the story.
And we're going to talk about this later with our main review, because this comes up again in our main review.
Yeah, we'll call this the race episode.
Yeah, might bleed over to another episode.
Yeah,
because there's another movie coming out this weekend where people are getting pissed.
Yeah.
So, moving on, the Vin Rock beef.
Oh my God, it's like a hip hop opera. It's dumb. It's so stupid.
So The Rock has finally responded to what Vin Diesel said, and that he was trying to be a good producer and push Vin Diesel to be a better actor, which we all know is bullshit.
Here's the fucking thing. Don't come at me, Vin Diesel, like you're on some goddamn Kubrick-esque fucking directorial type shit where you're trying to psychologically manipulate your actors into giving you the best performance. All right. So one, you don't have that kind of skill set, and two, you don't need to push The Rock to do anything. If you give The Rock a machine gun or allow him to punch something, he's Sir Lawrence O'Fucking-Olivier.
He saved that franchise.
Yeah,
Coming in 5 saved the franchise. So I like this is funny to me because you know what? It's recently come out too that Paul Walker, before he died, there's interviews now circling around saying that he had to fight for Tyrese to come back because Vin Diesel was insecure about Tyrese coming back because he felt that he might overshadow him. So this is the type of dude Vin Diesel is.
So Vin Diesel doesn't like other bald black dudes, and let's not forget The Rock is black.
Yes,
and so is Vin.
So
he doesn't like is that rule where there can only be one black kid at a party. I think that's how Vin Diesel is casting his.
Every time we find out something new about this guy, he becomes more and more of a fuckboy, and then you're just like, yeah, this is why this nigga hasn't had a career, man.
Right. That's why, it's the Fast and the Furious, and that's it. Like, I didn't even bother watching Bloodshot. I didn't even bother pirating Bloodshot.
Yeah. Well, you did the right thing.
And I'm a big fan of the Riddick series, but
it's a fake ass low budget Star Wars.
Yeah, I mean, it's got some edge and stuff like that. It's a good series. I really enjoyed 1 and 3 a lot.
Right.
But I don't need to see a 4, 5, and 6.
Triple X. Those first 2, especially the second one, those are some of the biggest pieces of shit I've ever seen. And then the third one's fun, but they're trying to get the fourth one off the ground now. Now, honestly, I'd rather see a movie about the team minus Vin, because the third one, they opened up. There's a bunch of triple X's, and on the team you got Donnie Yen, this Indian chick who's bad, Ruby Rose, Ice Cube comes back and joins the team. So it's just like, well, all these motherfuckers are more interesting and cooler triple X's than Xander Cage, because the movie's called Triple X: The Return of Xander Cage, and watching it, by the end of it, I was like, well, who gives a fuck about Xander Cage when you got all these motherfuckers here?
Just like the Fast and the Furious.
You know what I'm saying?
How is it that Vin Diesel is the least interesting character in all of these Vin Diesel movies?
I don't know. So anyways, The Rock heard about it. He straight up laughed. He laughed for a good hearty laugh for 2 minutes. And then this is how bad Vin has fucked up now. The Rock has now said he's not coming back. He's going to sit out 10 and 11 and he'll just do Hobbs and Shaw.
But at least he's coming back for Hobbs and Shaw, right?
Yeah.
Okay, at least.
But as far as the main franchise, he said he's now leaving the main franchise. And it's just like, well, good job, Vin Diesel. You just killed it.
Yeah, I mean,
you just fucking put a bullet in the fucking franchise's head.
Well, I mean, it was done anyway. They were gonna be ending after 10 and 11 anyway.
Yeah, but now it's gonna be weird that Hobbs ain't around. You know what I'm saying? Like, after everything.
I mean, I think The Rock, being The Rock, may come back
for 11.
For 11, just because he's a man of the people, and if the people really want The Rock, Mr. The Rock, I call him, because you got to put some respect on his name. I think he will come back for the fans if there's a big enough push, because the Fast family, his fan base is rabid, so they might be able to pull him back, even if it's just a cameo.
You know what, man? If I was Universal, if I was the head of Universal, I'd have them both in my office at the same time the next day, and I'd be like, I would do it in front of The Rock. I'd be like, and his agent, I'd be like, Vin, you need to sit down and shut the fuck up. When you work on set, be a fucking professional. You're not going to fuck this up for us. As a matter of fact, here's $50,000 to just shut your fucking mouth and just make the movie.
And here's the thing. He's as a producer, right?
And that's the problem. Ever since he became a producer on this shit, he's just been...
But the thing is, baby, you're gonna make your money anyway.
Yeah, exactly.
You know,
exactly.
so like just let this ship sail.
You know,
let the crew do what it needs to do. Like, it's on autopilot right now, man. It's printing money. Like, and no one's gonna forget who you are.
And the thing is, like, everybody's kind of wants to do their own thing. Like, everybody wants their own spinoff. Like, the only person who's really like adamant about this is you. Like, even Michelle Rodriguez is like, yeah, I could live without this shit. I could, like, unless we're doing a female led one, like, I don't care. Same thing with Roman and Tej. They're both like, yeah, if this shit was it, that's fine, because we're getting our own.
Right.
He's like, I like, this new F9 just proved that they don't need him, because they were going to do the mission without Toretto anyway.
Right. So, look, Vin Diesel, put your ego aside.
Yeah, weird, man.
And let all the other kids play. You don't have to be the big boss man. You're going to make money, and people aren't going to forget who you are. Ego's a fucking thing.
Yeah, man. Jesus Christ.
Really
Jesus fucking Christ, man. All right.
What else?
And you know what? Real quick too, he should know better, because he saw how quickly you could go out of relevance. Because the only thing that made him relevant again was the 4 Fast and Furious. Because for a minute he wasn't doing shit.
I mean, before the Fast and Furious, what was? I mean, like, all right. So he had the Riddick movies,
right? And then he did yeah, exactly. What he did Triple X, and then that was it for a minute.
Right. Yeah. Like,
it wasn't anything till he went back to Fast and Furious.
Yeah, and I get it. Like, this is the thing that puts you on, like, so to speak, that you went from like a known actor to a quote unquote superstar. And I get you kind of like have some ownership of this, but dog, like, your legacy is secure. Don't go out looking like an asshole. I mean, he's already known around the industry for being a douchebag just from that junket shit. Right. You're talking about this on the other podcast.
Yeah.
But,
Yeah. So.
All right. I mean, sorry, Vin Diesel, if this is hurting your feelings, and if Vin Diesel is listening to this, maybe you need a hug. Maybe we should life coach you.
All right. Well, moving on. Today, Venice announced their lineup, and Toronto is getting ready to announce their lineup. We're back in the Oscar season again, and this yeah, man, because, and apparently it's going to be the same thing as last year, or as this year is the Oscars are going to be March 27th. I'm like, bro, do we need to prolong this shit again? Like, move it to February. Like, honestly, the Oscars should be like end of January. Like just get it out of the way. I'm tired, man. I'm tired of this shit already. I mean,
after that last one, where
it felt like 5 years, and then by the time the Oscars rolled around, nobody gave a shit, and then y'all fumbled it so badly anyway. After that first week, the first 2 weeks after Oscars, like, it was gone.
What do you mean?
After it aired.
Oh yeah, I mean, no one cared.
Yeah,
no one,
because like you said in another episode, everybody was living an Oscar movie. So what I'm interested in, all the stuff that's in competition, I looked at, I was like, yeah, sure.
Yeah, give us some.
Paul Schrader's putting out the card counter. Paulo Sorrento is putting out the Hand of God. I like both of them as directors. Maggie Gyllenhaal is in competition with her movie called The Lost Daughter. I didn't even know she directed a movie.
Good for her.
Jane Campion has a new movie coming out called The Power of the Dog. And Anna Lily Amapour has a movie in competition called Mona Lisa and the Blood Moon. But what's more important is the stuff that's playing out of competition, because all this stuff in competition, I'm like, sure, man.
Like, it all sounds very, Oscar baity. Even the titles sound like just like.
That's the one thing I love about Venice, Cannes, Venice, and Toronto is you let everybody see everything first, and then the stuff that's good and trickles on and lives on. That's where I go see it, because man, the out of competition stuff. David Gordon Green's Halloween Kills is going to world premiere out of competition. Yes. So I'm taking a guess this movie's good. Edgar Wright's Last Night in Soho, world premiere at Venice, out of competition.
Okay.
As we reported before, the world premiere of Dune. As we reported, and then besides Dune, because we got some Dune stuff to talk about. We're gonna talk about.
We do.
We're gonna talk about this last other movie that's gonna premiere at a competition from one of our filmmakers and a friend to us for the show. Ridley Scott's The Last Duel. We'll be talking about that in the trailer talk. That's going to world premiere at a competition. All the shit that I want to see is
out of competition.
Yeah, man. So like, I'm just like, okay, well, if this is out of competition, like then the shit that's in competition, that shit better be masterpieces, or else like, I don't know. I don't care.
I think I'm going to coin a new term called it Oscar baiter. Instead of a masturbator, an Oscar baiter. So
now I know. So now I know personally, when I go to these big prestigious film festivals,
watch the shit that's not in competition.
No. If I submit my movie,
okay,
I want to be out of competition.
Right. Yeah. Because look, the movies that are going to be in competition, I'm sure, are very elegant and very profound and very, very, very boring. Because stuff in competition is never interesting.
You just gotta wait for stuff to build steam too. Like I remember right when they premiered Once Upon a Time in Hollywood out of Cannes, Parasite right out of Cannes. Everybody couldn't stop talking about those, and those were both from directors I knew and loved. So I was like, I couldn't wait to see them both. And because Bong at that point, he had The Host, Snowpiercer, Mother, Memories of a Murder under his belt. So when I went to go see Parasite and that was his best movie, I was like, wow, man, like this, I can't wait to see what this nigga does next. Like, and then, it was Quentin, man. So like,
I mean, I love anything Quentin does, man. Like he's a friend of ours too.
He's a friend of yours.
He's a friend of yours. He's a friend of ours.
He's a friend of yours. So yeah, man. The only movie that came out of Cannes that people have been talking about is the movie that won the Palme d'Or. We saw the trailer for it before Pig. It's called Titanium.
Right. Yeah. Is that how you pronounce it?
I'm taking a guess.
Yeah, okay.
So I mean,
it looks hard as fuck. It looks good.
I mean, everybody's saying it should win something. So I mean, I guess we'll see that.
I don't know. It looks a little too sexually charged to win anything.
It's from the director of Raw.
Yeah,
Raw's a gross ass movie.
Yeah, but
it's nasty.
It's good.
It's fucking nasty. It made me puke, man.
It's gross, but it's good.
Brother. Yeah. Well, like I said, man, I guess we're just not gonna. I don't care about winning awards. It's like, put me out of competition now. Like, fuck all that other shit.
Like, I don't want to win awards. I want to win life.
Yeah.
So, winning life is yacht money. I know I'm not supposed to have it. Yeah, I'm not supposed to buy a yacht, but I want to have the money to be able to buy a yacht.
Listen, the way I look at it, if Edgar Wright, Ridley Scott, and Denis Villeneuve are saying, yeah, we're just going to play out a competition, fuck it.
Right.
Then you know what, man? I'm going to play out a competition too at this point.
If it's good enough for them, man. It's good enough for you.
Yeah, exactly. So, Jeff, what have you watched lately?
What you watching? What you watching? I said, what you watching? What you watching?
What are you watching?
Oh, God, I love that song. So what have I been watching this week? I've actually taken it kind of easy this week.
Same.
But I did finish watching the Netflix documentary series Heist.
Is it good?
Oh, it's amazing. I love heist shit anyway. I love heist movies. And this show is fantastic. It's like the real life, like stories of these just amazing heists told by the people who pulled them off. And it's 3 episodes. Well, it's three stories, each 2 episodes. So it's like 6 episodes each, or 6 episodes total. So the first one is about a armored car robbery that used no guns. The second one was about a robbery, another Lufthansa robbery, because in Goodfellas, the Lufthansa robbery was their big score, right?
Right.
And that was based on real life. That actually happened. So Lufthansa got robbed again in 2013, and it was the most simplistic heist ever. Effective, no one got hurt, and it's real, almost dumb easy how they did it. And the third one was about the Pappy Van Winkle whiskey heist.
Okay.
All right. And so if you don't know, Pappy Van Winkle is a whiskey that can go from anywhere between 200 or a bourbon that can go anywhere between $200 a bottle to $2,000 a bottle, because Anthony Bourdain spoke about it on one of his shows and talked about like how it was pretty much the whiskey that he imagines God drinking. That's how good it was. That was his description. And so no one cared about Pappy Van Winkle before that. As soon as Anthony Bourdain said that, the stock skyrocketed.
Damn.
Right? And so there was a heist of the distillery there. And it's a great show. It's really slick. The stories are engaging. Like actually hearing from the people who pulled off the heists is amazing. And the one takeaway from it that I got is if you're going to pull a heist, if you're going to rob somebody, you got to kill all your accomplices, because someone's going to fuck it up. Someone who works at McDonald's is all of a sudden going to go into a strip club and start dropping $100 bills and then blow up your spot. Right. So I watched Heist. I highly recommend it if you like heist movies or anything about robbing people. I guess. I don't know if that's an endorsement or not.
Okay.
All right.
What else have you watched, man? That sounds dope. And I got to put that on the watch list.
Yeah, so coming out of nowhere, I was just perusing Amazon and I saw a trailer for this movie called Jolt, starring Kate Beckinsale. And I absolutely love this fucking movie. It is everything that I wanted Gunpowder Milkshake to be. It's funny, it's fast, it's bloody and action packed. And pretty much the story behind it is Kate Beckinsale plays this woman who has a mental condition in which she has no impulse control when it comes to anger. So the littlest things trigger her and she reacts with extreme violence. So she has to wear a vest that she controls with a buzzer that gives her an electric shock every time she's about to go off on somebody, right? And so it's the story of her, her boyfriend gets killed and she goes on a bloody rampage around not New York, because it's New York but definitely Canada, and starts kicking ass.
Okay.
And it's stacked with some pretty big time actors in it. Like Stanley Tucci's in it. We got Bobby Cannavale. We got Laverne Cox, and our man Jai Courtney is in it playing the love interest.
All right, well, shout out to Jai Courtney.
Yeah, I mean,
Captain Boomerang.
the only thing I didn't like about this movie was that it automatically set up for a sequel. And I hate that shit.
You got to do that on streamers now too. It's just not Hollywood, but it's everybody.
It's I just want a movie to end.
Yeah.
I like seeing the continuing adventures of this woman kicking ass and taking names. Fuck yes.
All right.
But I don't need. I don't if it didn't happen, I'd be okay.
Okay.
All right. So that's Jolt. It's pretty fucking good. Let's shout out to Kate Beckinsale for looking like she's having fun in an action movie instead of that dire shit she's been in the blood.
Underworld.
Underworld shit.
Fucking Len Wiseman.
And taking it back to Underworld 2, the sex scene in Jolt. Kate Beckinsale actually looks like she's enjoying this one. So give a shout out to Tanya Wexler, the director, for making a Kate Winslet sex scene look interesting.
Well, it's not Len Wiseman. Again, it's not Len Wiseman.
If it's not Wiseman, it's not good, man.
All right. What else you watched?
The last movie I watched was Zola. All right. So if you don't know what Zola is or was about, it's back in 2015 there was this 148 tweet story about a stripper who goes to Florida on this road trip with some woman she just met, and she gets into all sorts of nefarious misadventures. It was absolutely hilarious. It was Fear and Loathing for the thought crowd, you know. So they decided it was this hilarious read, like riveting from beginning to end. They decided to make a movie of it, and even though the movie is competent, it's interestingly shot. It's got a real 70s vibe to like not only the film stock they use, but the editing, the sound design. It's all right. It's an okay movie, and it's one of those things where the written word is always going to be more powerful than translating to celluloid, just because of how you imagine it in your mind. Like, nothing's going to live up to how you see it in your head, and Zola is a perfect example of that.
Well, I'm glad you said that, because in a previous episode, I did my Zola review and basically said the same exact thing, right?
Yeah.
Well,
so I mean, and there's if you want to see dongs, there's a lot of dongs in it.
Yo, that was, I thought that shit was hilarious. The penis sex montage, that shit was hilarious.
And there's no female nudity.
Yeah.
So I mean, for a movie about two strippers going on a sort of rampage, it's actually very subtle when it comes to nudity. With female nudity, male nudity is rampant, and it's hilarious. The dude with the elephantitis of the nut.
Oh yeah, dude. Yo, that one dick where it was just like, it looked like a fucking baseball bat. I was like, God damn, dog, you're gonna kill this girl. Yeah, man. Yeah, well.
Yeah, but that's all I've been watching. Yeah, like I've been trying to keep it easy.
All right. Well, I finally finished Avatar: The Last Airbender. I had forgotten about how fucking morally gray this show got in its second and third seasons.
Right.
Because that first season, it's basically just a road trip, and it still continues the road trip for the rest of the show. But I mean, goddamn, it gets gray for a kids show. And now that I finished that, I'm on to The Legend of Korra, which is the sequel show, and this shit is even more morally gray, and the politics are just so complicated. I'm only 8 episodes in.
How many episodes are there? Like, how many seasons did they get?
They got 4 for Legend of Korra.
Okay, and did that 4 finish out the story, or did they get canceled?
No, it finished out the story. Because the Last Airbender, Avatar: The Last Airbender, is only 3 seasons.
Okay, gotcha.
So that's what I love, is like they keep these shits short, and I can't wait for Avatar Studios to launch on Paramount Plus. So that's why I'm rewatching this. I'm glad I rewatched Last Airbender. Reminds me why it's one of the best animated shows ever. And Legend of Korra so far is it's meeting it. It's meeting it.
Well, I'm setting that up this weekend. Like I'm going to start the Last Airbender, because you've been talking about it since I think we began the show. You know, so like now I'm finally ready to like dive in.
Once you finish the show, and this goes for you, Jeff, and this goes for our listeners, if you never watched it and you start the show and you finish it, please never watch the M. Night movie, because it will turn you into like a murderous frenzy fanatic. It will turn you crazy. You will want to hunt this nigga down and just chop him up like Ed Gein style, just hatchet and all.
So you're saying that the M. Night Shyamalan Last Airbender wasn't that good then? Oh, man. Is that what you're trying to say?
It is. I would say this: After Earth is better.
That's fucking blasphemy. That is fucking nothing. Is like.
After Earth is better, and that movie's a piece of shit.
Oh, those bold words, son.
Listen. I'll tell you like this: Last Airbender has 5% on fucking Rotten Tomatoes. At least After Earth has 20.
I'm surprised it got 20. So we need to have a drinking a lot.
Oh, no. I'm not watching this motherfucker again.
Yeah, but we were watching it drunk though.
We can't do this shit. We can't do this shit, man. We just can't. I'm never watching that shit again. I vowed that movie off.
Oh, so it's in your list of movies that you'll never watch again.
It's forbidden. It's almost it hurt like fucking a Serbian story hurt.
I've got 3 movies
or a Serbian film.
I've got 3 movies that I will never watch again. A Serbian film.
Yes.
The other one is I can't even think of it. It's another German film. I can't think of the name of it right now. And After Earth. Like I can't think of like the second one. It escapes me now because I've gotten no sleep. But After Earth is a movie I never have to see ever again.
Oh, yeah. And you know what? There was more better directing flourishes and storytelling flourishes that were done better in After Earth than there was in The Last Airbender. Like, you'll see, like, rewatching that first season, because that's what the first movie is an adaptation of the first season of the show. And you're just like, I don't understand how somebody can fumble this so badly. Like, it's all laid out for you. All you got to do is literally take the shit and just put it on fucking screen. And you can't even do that right.
M. Night be M. Nighting. I don't know what to fucking say.
Yeah. That's why they be saying Avatar. That's why they be doing like 20 yoga poses before they actually bend. You know, because when you bend in the show, you just do a move and you shoot fire or pull up some dirt or create a water spear or some shit. Bro, it takes them like 20 moves to start bending. Like, they'll be doing like yoga poses like mountain, tiger, and then they'll finally shoot fire. I'm like, what the fuck kind of movie is this?
All right, well, I'm gonna have to watch this.
And then the close-ups. Oh, dude, there's a part where the three main characters are having a conversation,
right?
And the close-ups are the most insane fucking thing I've ever seen. I'm like, bro, what the fuck are you doing here?
What I like. Are they motivated close-ups? Are they just like?
I will show you these GIFs after the show.
Okay.
Because you have to see this to believe this. Like, I remember even in the theater, everybody started laughing because we're just like, what the fuck is this shit? And that movie was in 3D. Like,
so it's fucking nostrils in 3D, huh? Like
I didn't see it in 3D, but it's dark. Like, that movie's dark. I can only imagine how that movie looked in 3D. It must, like, your eyes must have been like melting out of your fucking skull, man.
That's what they were hoping for.
Jesus Christ.
Like, they were hoping for your eyes to melt out of your skull so you didn't have to actually
finish the
film.
fucking movie. All right.
That's fucking metal right there.
I also watch Monsters at Work. We're on now episode 4. This is I like the first 2 episodes a lot because they're basically a sequel to Monsters Inc. And now this 3rd and 4th episode, it's kind of, and I don't mean this in a bad way, it's just now becoming a kid's show. You know what I mean? It's still enjoyable, but it's now just a kid's show.
But it's settling into its groove.
Yeah. It's just a kid's show. And I'm just like, what happened to these first 2 episodes, man, where you guys had the tone? And it's not bad. It's just,
I mean, they did a bait and switch, you know? Like, they gave you the first 2 for free, and now you got to work for the rest of it.
Well, I wish we could go back to... So let me bring up the other stuff I watched. Another thing I watched this week was because I wanted to watch it because there's a new episode of a podcast called The Kingcast that they covered. They had a 2.5-hour episode on Creepshow 2, and that's why I started watching it and didn't finish it before the previous episode where you talked about it. So I finally got to finish it and listen to the entire fucking 2.5-hour podcast. Yeah, man. I got nothing to add to what you said on the last episode. There's literally nothing I can. It's like the shit's bad when the best part of this shit is the animated stuff, and the animated stuff is only animated because they didn't have the budget to do that shit live action.
Right, but they should have. Like, I don't understand how, like, the beginning of the movie they have. I think it's Tom Savini in that.
The creeper
in the creeper makeup. Like, it should have just been cartoon all the way through.
Yeah, it's jarring.
It's very jarring. Like, his mouth isn't really moving.
Yeah,
and like, spoiler alert: the end of the movie is Tom Savini's character littering on a highway in southern Pennsylvania. That's literally how this movie ends.
Yeah.
Shout out to our friend of the show, Amanda, for posting about our Creep Show. Episode.
Thank you.
Yeah,
that was a very sweet and nice tweet.
Yeah, but we were right though. The 80s hit different.
Yeah. Saturday, I had some minor insomnia. I woke up at like 3 a.m. and couldn't go back to sleep. So I turned on HBO Max and watched a documentary called Woodstock 99, Peace, Love, and Rage. And wow, man, Woodstock 99, now I see why that shit is dead. Like,
there was a lot of fucking rapes, right?
Yeah.
A lot of rape and violence.
Yeah, only 8 were reported, and there was like 200 rapes.
Jesus Christ.
They literally burned down the festival. And it got so bad that the organizers were begging the Red Hot Chili Peppers, can you guys please calm down the audience? And they're like, yeah, sure. You know what they did? This was their final song, the encore. They do a cover of Jimi Hendrix's Fire as niggas is burning shit.
Yeah. Yeah, that's fucking the 90s, baby. No one gave a fuck.
Yo, and then you watch the promoter. There's two promoters they interview, and the one promoter, that dude is a fucking scumbag. Like he blames everybody except himself.
I think most music, I don't hate to shit on anybody, but I think most music promoters are pieces of shit.
Yeah.
Like if you watch both Fire Festival documentaries.
Oh yeah.
These fucking Svengalis, these fucking...
Yeah. Because Woodstock 99 was basically what was now festival culture before it was festival culture. Like, $4 for a bottle of water is now common at a festival. But, like, back then, that was outrageous, you know? Because inflation, right. I think $4 inflation now would be like $7, $8.
Yeah, I've paid that because what are you fucking gonna do?
Yeah, I mean, $4 a water now at a music festival, you expect that. But back then, yeah, that like they fucked up. Like they go into all the reasons why this shit fucked up. Like they've had it at an abandoned military base, so it's all asphalt.
Right, so no grass, like no
security. Like they hired, if you could basically read and write, you were a security guard, and most of these niggas either quit or took their shirt off and went to go hang out at the festival.
Cool.
Not only was the food expensive, but if you tried to sneak in food, they would take your food, but let you keep your drugs and shit and your weapons.
You can't have that fucking burrito.
They were told,
but like you can keep this.
Because they were told by the people running the festival, oh yeah, take away the food and the water, but if they have drugs or whatever else, that's up on you. That's left up to you if you want to take that or not.
Right, because they can't make money off someone else's drugs.
And that's what it comes down to, is like what killed that festival and the festival in general was just it was hot. They were on a tarmac. And then everything was overpriced. Like thinking about prices back then, that shit is OD expensive, bro.
Well, here's the thing. Like if you look at the original Woodstock, I mean, it was supposed to be. I mean, from what I've read and heard, it was supposed to be a celebration and of like unity and like your protesting against the war and shit like that. I'm sure bad shit happened there.
Oh yeah, like, they go into it. They're like, yo, the original Woodstock is not as mythic as everybody would like to believe. Like they said 10 people died, motherfuckers OD'd, some people got raped at the original Woodstock.
Right, because people are going to be people.
Yeah.
Like, I'm sorry, people are pieces of shit.
Yeah.
But as far as this though, this was purely commercial.
Yeah.
Woodstock 99 was purely commercial.
And they get into it. Like I get that was the music and that was popular then, but it was mostly nu metal acts. Like somebody summed it up the best. They're like, Kid Rock coming out in a fur coat and it's 100 degrees out and rocking a pimp cane with a top hat. That just summed up the whole Woodstock 99 to me. He's just like the haves and the have-nots.
That sums up life.
Yeah.
In general.
The haves and the have-nots. Like basically some lady said, they're like, yo, listen, you have angry white men listening to angry white music. And then on top of that, like she's like, on top of that, you have it's 100 degrees. You fuck them over on food and water.
I mean, this is a recipe for a race war. When you actually look at like recipe for a riot. Heat, angry white men music.
They also said the showers. They got into the shower situation. They were like, yo, these showers are what we do at refugee camps, and this is what they had people doing now. And the men and the women's side was separated by tarp. And you know what happened?
It was ripped down the tarp.
Oh yeah, niggas were ripping down the tarp.
Yeah, of course.
To stare at the ladies, even though, as Dave Matthews said, as he's performing, they showed us. He's like, I cannot believe my eyes at this festival. We've been here performing 2 songs and there's just been an abundance of titties. That's what he said. An abundance of titties in the first 5 minutes we've been up here.
Well, I mean, yes, there's free range titties, which are, liberated willingly, and then there's as I like to call Porky's titties or 80s comedy titties, where it's borderline molesting.
Yeah. And that's what the other thing that pissed me off is the music promoter saying like, "Oh, all these girls who got raped, they shouldn't have been walking around naked." I'm like, wait. First off. Not only were the girls walking around naked, but there was dudes walking around with their fucking dicks out too. Second of all, just because a girl's walking around naked, don't give you the right to fucking shove your dick inside of her.
That is something a piece of shit says.
Yes.
And he's on the record saying that. This on a documentary.
This is in the fuck. Watch the documentary. This motherfucker blames Limp Bizkit. He blames.
Oh, I blame Limp Bizkit for a lot, but not rape.
Because that's where they show you like that performance during Limp Bizkit. That's when it really started to go downhill because it just brought out an energy where you're just like, oh boy, where motherfuckers, on top of them just being frustrated, they got that shit out of their system. They got it out by doing the worst shit possible. And they interview people who went to the festival, and the one dude, he's like, yeah, I never thought I'd be participating in a riot, but I did, because he's like, when in Rome. And I was just like, wow.
When in Rome.
Wow. Like, motherfuckers broke open the ATM, stole all the money. They literally burnt down that festival. And it's just like, like somebody says, it turned into it went from how could this happen to how did it not happen?
Yeah. How do you look at that situation and say, oh yeah, everything's going to be fucking fine?
Yeah, man. Like, yeah, that music promoter, I was like, that dude, I was just like, bro, you painted yourself to be the ultimate piece of shit. Every time he got interviewed, every time they'd use a piece from his interview, I'm just like, man,
they shouldn't have been walking around naked. Maybe they were naked because you've got a whole bunch of groping motherfuckers probably removing their clothes or whatever like that.
Yo, and that's the thing. The Offspring performed Friday, and it was like Friday right after DMX. So it was like the sun's still setting. It's like 5:45 or 6 o'clock. The motherfucker stopped. He turned to the band, the lead singer. He turned to the band. He's like, yo, stop. And he's like, all right, I see everybody's having a good time. Everybody's crowd surfing, but do me a favor. There's a lot of female Offspring fans, and I keep seeing them getting pulled down while they're crowd surfing or getting their clothes ripped off as they're trying to crowd surf, and y'all groping the shit out of them. Can y'all stop that shit? And then as soon as he finishes that, somebody threw a fucking bottle of water right at his head.
Oh, wow. So Woodstock 99.
Yeah, it's on HBO. Watch it. Woodstock 99. Peace, love, and rage. Go ahead.
So as a palate cleanser to that, I've also the new season of Ted Lasso is on Apple TV. So you should watch that after hearing this, because that'll make you feel better about humanity. Because hearing about Woodstock 99 made me want to burn down or hunt a motherfucker, but Ted Lasso will kind of like fix that. So watch Ted Lasso.
I'm just gonna blow through this one real quickly. I rewatched Blowout, Brian De Palma's Blowout. Turned 40 on Saturday, and my brother never saw it. I had the Criterion Blu-ray. I'm like, it's finally time for you to watch it.
What did he think?
Oh, he loved it.
Because it's so fucking good.
Yeah, man. When people tell me like, oh, that's my favorite De Palma, I get it. Is it mine? No, but
you get why people love that movie.
Yeah. Man.
But De Palma is like, he's amazing. Like even his shit, like even his worst movies are still kind of interesting at least.
Well, I haven't watched recent De Palma, so like from Femme Fatale on, I've missed. So.
Was Femme Fatale his last one?
No, he's done stuff after that, but I just haven't gotten to it just because it hasn't been widely released,
I'm going to always talk about this one. If you haven't seen Snake Eyes, not the G.I. Joe Snake Eyes, the Brian De Palma Snake Eyes with Nick Cage, watch that shit.
All right. Well, I watched Turner and Hooch yesterday, the Tom Hanks one and the sequel show on Disney Plus.
How does the Tom Hanks one hold up?
I fucking hated it. I thought it was boring. It was so bad that my brother looked at me halfway through because we thought we were almost at the end, and I was like, oh, there's still fucking 45 minutes left, and he looked at me. He's like, all right, I'm done. He went and did something else, and I finished it, and I was just like, all right, man, sure. Like Hooch got shot, but then there's another Hooch because he fucked Lassie. Yeah. And
did you watch it as a kid?
No, this is my first time watching.
All right, so that's the thing. I watched Turner and Hooch as a kid, and I love that fucking movie. I bet going back now and watching that movie, it would be absolutely horrible. And that is why you should not live in nostalgia.
Well, I will say this. I like the show. I like the show a lot. It's fun. It's 40 minutes, which fucking suits this type of shit more. And it's basically like an action comedy. Like, it has more action than the actual movie. Like, they get into shootouts and shit.
So this is Disney Plus. What is this show produced directly for Disney Plus? Or okay.
Yeah, but it has some when they're doing the shootouts and shit and taking down drug dealers, I was like, this is Disney Plus. All right.
You know,
I was like, all right, motherfucker. Like, they spent some money on this shit. Like, McGee directed the pilot.
Yo.
And motherfucking, like, he pulls a Michael Bay where a fucking sports car flies over the cop car. I was like, bro, y'all spent some money on this motherfucker.
Look, yo, I'm all in for a McGee fucking movie. Yo,
McGintley?
He is the poor man's Michael Bay.
Yes.
You know, like, I love what he did with Charlie's Angels. Remember that show Fastlane?
Yes.
Yo, I mean, that was for a mid-90s cop drama comedy starring, Bill Bellamy. It was pretty good.
I will never forget the story about Terminator Salvation, where there was a screening, and everybody keeps telling me about this, where this motherfucker, during the Q&A, he walks in right when the movie's finished, and he had the cast with him. It was a Q&A with him and the cast, and he walks in and he's just clapping, going, "How about that movie? How about that movie?" And like during the Q&A, after somebody would ask him a question, he'd be like, "Yeah, so how about that movie?" And I just hear that, and I'm just like, "Yeah, that sounds about right."
So Terminator Salvation, that didn't feel like a McGee movie though. Like,
but it's not good.
It's not good. But like, go watch The Babysitter. Have you seen The Babysitter?
On Netflix? On
Netflix.
Yeah, it's all right.
That's McGee.
That's all right.
He's fun. He's like a poor man's Michael Bay.
All right, and the last one I'm going to get into, it's a movie that comes out this Friday. It's Tom McCarthy's Stillwater. This movie's 2 hours and 20 minutes, so basically 2.5 hours, and you feel every fucking minute of this 2.5 hours. It's about Matt Damon playing a MAGA dude who basically is trying to get his daughter back because his daughter is falsely imprisoned in France for killing her roommates, basically based off the Amanda Knox story, you know what I mean?
Right.
And it's like 3 or 4 different movies rolled into one. Like, the way this shit flows, I'm like, all right, so we switched genres, so now we're this. Okay, so now we're like a little family movie in the vein of Paddington, where it's all light and friendly, but not really for kids. And now we're back to being like a thriller type deal.
Who directed it?
Tom McCarthy.
Okay.
Him and his writing partner worked on it, and then another French writing duo also worked on the script. So it's 4 people who wrote this script.
Right, because I heard like out of, was it Cannes or Venice, that that it got like a 5-minute standing ovation, especially the performance by what's his face, not by Good Will Hunting, Matt Damon. Yeah, I
guess, man. That's all.
Was he at least good? Was the acting at least good?
It's all right. Yeah, it's all right.
Yeah. So, all right. So that's your endorsement for Stillwater.
And, wait. It comes out in theaters this Friday. Wait the 40 days and just fucking... you know what? Don't even rent it.
It's not even going to be 40 days, man.
Don't even rent it.
I bet it's going to be 2 weeks.
Don't rent it. If you can see it for free, see it for free. Even then, I wouldn't even... It's just not worth it. Like, I think it's just going to fall by the wayside. So, that's it.
All right.
So... All right, that's it. Let's get into trailer talk.
Roll camera and action.
It's time for some trailer talk.
All right. Wednesday night, I went to Lincoln Square, the biggest IMAX in North America. And they gave us a 40-minute presentation for Dune. And for those of you who've been listening to the show, you know I've been looking forward to this movie. This was my most anticipated movie of last year. COVID happened. It is now my most anticipated movie of this year. And I'll tell you what they showed. They showed the first 10 minutes. They showed an EPK. Then they showed a pivotal scene from the movie. They showed a little Hans Zimmer featurette. And then they premiered the new trailer. to be honest with you, I'm at a loss for words. It exceeded my expectations. I wasn't expecting this.
Right.
The reason why they did this IMAX presentation is because, guys, I'm not lying to you. If you can get to a real IMAX, go to a real IMAX. This takes up the entire screen. This took up the entire 8-story screen.
So like
the full 1.3 IMAX aspect ratio.
So there's only 3 on the East Coast, right? There's the New York, there's Atlantic City, and Philadelphia.
Right, and I think there's one up in Boston or Massachusetts somewhere.
All right.
There's one in Chicago. There's one in San Francisco, and I think maybe Sacramento, and then of course LA has it's 6 or 7, because the one in AC is 5, and the one in King of Prussia is 5.
All right, but yeah. So I was cautiously optimistic about Dune when the first teaser came out. When was that? A couple of months ago?
That was last year. That was last October.
Wow. So yeah. So that's how much time is a concept and a construct to me right now. But I saw the new trailer. You texted me and told me to watch the new trailer, and I was fucking mesmerized. I was blown away.
So after watching the first 10 minutes, I look around the theater because the theater was packed. There was only like 20 empty seats. Like this motherfucker was packed. I looked around the theater and everybody was silent. And once that was done, I look over at my boy because I'm on the verge of tears just because, and and my boy was too. After I looked over at him, I haven't seen anything with this scope or this scale or this ambition since Lord of the Rings. Like, and this is all practical. Like, I'm not used to seeing shit like this. You know what I'm saying? Like, all those people, like, there's like 500 people in some of these shots. And I'm just like, I looked up the budget of the movie because I was like, wait, how much did this motherfucker cost?
All the money.
And because I'm like, this has to cost, it cost 165 million. And I was just like,
that's it?
That's what I said. I was like, this looks like it cost 300, 400 million dollars. I was like, there's no way. I was like, 165 million dollars. And like that first 5 minutes, the first 10 minutes, it sets up the conflict of the movie. And you get, and that first 10 minutes, I watched it. I was like, so literally everything has stolen from Dune. Like,
oh yeah, I mean, Dune. Like, how old Dune?
1965.
There you go.
Star Wars stole from Dune. Game of Thrones stole from Dune. Like, they have House Atreides and House Harkonnen. And when they cut to House Atreides, those are our good guys, people. Their army screams, Atreides, Atreides, Atreides. And I was just like, bro, this is an epic. When Denis Villeneuve said he's making Star Wars for adults,
right,
he wasn't lying. This is Star Wars for adults, but it's PG-13, so everybody can see it. And like Timothée Chalamet, before they showed the first 10 minutes, he filmed a little intro like, hey, here's the first 10 minutes. And he had a shit-eating grin on his face.
Right. It's like, I'm about to show you some shit.
And then when he came back, after our first 10 minutes, he's like, so thank you for coming out. We got more stuff to show you guys. And I was just like, what the fuck else can you show me? That's insane.
Now, everybody, we're only talking about the first 10 minutes
for right now
of this movie,
because we're gonna get into the pivotal scene,
right? But you understand, like, he has not, like, Brandon is this excited and he hasn't seen more than 15 minutes of this fucking movie.
Bro, Lady Jessica is his mother, and I don't know much about Dune. I just knew that this is what all my favorite shit came from, and the only reason I'm so excited is because it's Denis Villeneuve doing the shit, like the origin of the shit I love. He's sitting having dinner or breakfast with Lady Jessica, who's his mom, Paul Atreides, and she's like, tell you want a glass of water? He's like, yeah. He's like, tell the glass of water to give you a glass of water, and he's using his mind to talk to the glass of water. He's like, it's not working. He's like, no, you tell me to tell you to tell the glass of water. And he uses it, and you could see his mom starting to get under the influence of him to give him a glass of water. I'm like, bro, this is the fucking Force. I was like, George Lucas literally stole the Force from Dune. I was like, what the fuck? I watched that. I got mad. I was like, I'm not mad at Dune, mad at George Lucas, because I'm like, motherfucker, what? He still, because we know he stole from
samurai films,
Kurosawa. Right. He stole from Lawrence of Arabia. And he stole from Dune and John Carter. I was just watching it. I was like, this is more Star Wars than John Carter. Yeah. Like the way the ships are shot, Jeff, like in space, it looks like 2001.
Oh man, I cannot wait to fucking see this movie.
And like Zendaya's voiceover, it feels like Cate Blanchett, how she did her voiceover for the first part of Lord of the Rings. Also, when the title card comes up, we got the full title of the movie.
Right.
Do you guys want to know what the full title of the movie is?
Go for it.
Dune Part 1.
So this is only part 1, guys.
Because I asked the dude was nerding out in front of me in line because we had to wait in line for this. And I asked the dude, I was like, okay, you read the book. I have a question. Do the sequel books like Children of Dune and Dune Messiah, do they need to split those up? He's like, no, those are streamlined enough where they can be one movie. You could do those in 2 or 2.5 hours. This book, Dune, he told me, he looked me directly on it. He's like, this book, Dune, needs to be 2 movies because you've seen Game of Thrones, right? I was like, yeah. He's like, yeah, this is 2 seasons of Game of Thrones in one fucking book.
All right.
And he's like, the book is split in 2 different parts. So one part ends, it jumps forward 2 years, and then the next part begins.
Right.
Same characters and everything. So I'm guessing that's where this first part ends.
All right. Yeah, I'm here for it.
So we saw the EPK, and the EPK is your standard EPK, but there's some stuff revealed
for people who don't know.
Electronic press kit.
All right,
it's like a little, what you see on HBO, like a little making of behind the scenes.
Right.
Josh Brolin and Jason Momoa, they were like, yeah, we came on because we both knew Dune, and Denny, Josh Brolin's like, I worked with Denny before, and Jason, he was like, yeah, this is my first time working with him. What sold us on it was, and they looked in the camera with a straight face, no bullshit. They said, Denny first read this book when he was 14, and he has since read it 4 times since. And that's not including when he adapted this for this movie.
So this is the movie he's always wanted to make.
He said that. He's like, this is the movie of my dreams. I've been dreaming of this since I was a literal kid. He's like, I've been working on this for 4 years. I don't give up on stuff easily. There's points where I did want to give up on it, but once I'm committed to something, I'm in it. And I think we're going to do the book justice. And Frank Herbert's son's there, Brian Herbert. He's just like, guys, this is the book. You're not going to get anything better than this. And I was like, yo, I believe it. So we get a whole press kit, and then we get a scene from the movie in full IMAX. I've never seen a major blockbuster have a big action scene based around a rescue.
Okay.
It's a sandworm attack. You know, there's sandworms that make the spice, and then you have a harvester, because now this scene takes place on
Arrakis.
Arrakis is the name of the planet, and they're trying to harvest the spice and pretty much take over the planet. One of their harvesters broke down, and they can't rescue the people on the harvester, so they go in and they rescue them because there's a sandworm coming. And everybody's like, Duke Leto is Paul's dad, Duke Leto Atreides. He's the the leader of House Atreides. Everybody's telling him, hey man, forget the people, get the spice, because this is where we're gonna make all of our money on. He's like, man, there's a whole bunch of spice on this planet. I want my people. So that's what the whole thing is. Paul gets off the ship, and this is where we get the first part of Paul, because before this, Paul's having dreams of Zendaya's character.
Right.
She's a Fremen, and Fremen are basically like the how do you want to say this? The natives of the planet.
They're the indigenous people.
Of the planet. He grabs a handful of the sand, and the spice comes, and that starts what triggers his vision, and he starts having visions of what may or may not happen. And he gets so caught up in the visions that like they almost leave without him, and fucking Josh Brolin jumps off the ship, grabs this nigga, and pulls him onto what's those things called where you let down the back of a plane?
Oh, the loading, the gantry, the loading gantry.
So they're hanging on the back of that as they're watching the sandworm just swallow the whole fucking
harvester.
Yeah. Whole. Like you see part of it in the teaser trailer.
Right.
It is nothing compared to seeing it in full. The sandworm, you don't get to see the sandworm come out. You just see its mouth literally swallowing this harvester. So I cannot wait to see the full fucking sandworm in full.
Yeah. All right,
And then after that, we got a Hans Zimmer featurette. This nigga Hans was like,
did he put his foot in it? This one? Did he actually make a good soundtrack?
I like this. From what I've heard so far, I like it. Hans, he said Dune is one of his all-time favorite books, and the only reason why he said yes was because it was Denis, and he worked with Denis before on Blade Runner 2049. He turned down a lot of jobs to do this. Like, he's been working on this score for 2 years, and he said, the thing I hate about most sci-fi movies is that stuff that's supposed to be not from Earth sounds like it's from Earth. So I created new instruments and new vocals for this movie.
Word.
Yeah, Hans turned down Tenet to do this movie, and you know what? He had the foresight. He had the foresight because. And then we saw the new trailer, which Jeff, I've been taking up a lot of retail here. Jeff, this was also in full IMAX. This whole trailer.
Look, like I said before, I was on the fence about Dune. Watching that first teaser a year ago, watching this new trailer that just dropped this week or last week, I'm fully invested in it. Like, I watched it on a my 40-inch TV in my office, and I was blown away. So I can only imagine what it looks like in IMAX, like the scope it was shot. It looks massive. It looks epic. And I know we throw around the word epic,
but this is epic.
This is the definition of epic. Like, if I can get this sort of like goosebumps and these chills watching it at home, I can't wait to see this in the theater. Like, the entire fucking movie. I saw 2 minutes of it. This dude over here saw 15 minutes of it. You know,
I'm literally astounded. Like, there's just a loss of words. I can't describe to you what I saw just because it'd be doing a disservice. Like, I can't say enough. Like, yo, this is one you have to see on an IMAX, or even if you don't have an IMAX around you, you find the biggest auditorium that your theater has and you fucking see it. Yeah. Like, it's insane.
This seems like a movie that's too big to fail. This seems like there's no way that this movie is going to be bad at all. It's going to hit on all cylinders. And everyone, like we've mentioned before, everyone who's seen this movie, you know, like in these film festivals, you know, these
have said it has to win awards. And now I'm seeing it. I'm like, yeah, man, this is Lord of the Rings level quality.
Right. And so Lord of the Rings pretty much influenced an whole entire generation of filmmakers after Peter Jackson did that. Like,
right.
He did epic.
The books too, man. Like J.R.R. Tolkien's influenced that. Like, basically Game of Thrones is like a mix of Dune and Lord of the Rings.
Right. So
I was astounded, man. Like, I'm just astounded because once that trailer finished, that trailer was it. And then we got to leave. And at the end of that trailer, people stood up, cheered, and clapped because we're all just like, bro, if that was 15 minutes, that was a 40-minute presentation with everything. And what the fuck is the whole fucking movie's going to be if that was what we saw?
Right. If this is like the foreplay.
Yeah.
You know, can't wait to get to the action.
Yeah, man.
All right, but yes, let's
October 22nd.
October 22nd. Oh, when did the tickets go on sale?
Hopefully soon, man.
Yeah, like, so as soon as they go on sale, buy it for the biggest screen you can. It might be worth a trip to New York or at least AC, so you can hit up your favorite, brothel afterwards.
All right, well, let's get into our boy Ridley's new movie.
Yeah,
The Last Duel. This seems to be politically in line with another movie he did called Thelma and Louise, which was dealing with two women dealing with sexual assault. And this one is now dealing with a woman in medieval times with sexual assault and how she's dealing with it. And just, this seems very relevant today where like she's like, yo, this dude like fucking violated me. And everybody's like, did he though?
I think rape culture will always be relevant.
Yeah.
Because motherfuckers can't learn.
I'm surprised motherfuckers didn't start getting mad at this trailer when this trailer dropped.
I mean, they probably are, but they're not on the websites that we're on.
Good. Yeah, man. Everybody looks to be putting their foot into it. Even Matt Damon. I'm even surprised when I watched this trailer. I was like, whoa, we're getting this from Matt Damon?
Like like you said that for Matt Damon, I'm saying that for Adam Driver. Adam Driver looked like he's actually like.
See, I always like Adam Driver.
I like him because he's always playing Adam Driver. He's always playing the dude who was in Girls. But this, he seems to be actually acting, you know, like putting in a performance. I'm looking forward to that.
Well, and fucking Ben Affleck's unrecognizable too. Like the bleach blonde hair.
Yeah, and the fucking gnarly ass scar.
Yeah.
So I mean, it looks good. It looks
playing Venice out of competition.
Yeah,
so
like Ridley Scott, you know, big fan of the show. Hopefully.
Well, I'm a big fan of your movies,
right.
so like,
but like,
hey, when it's time to promote this, come on the show. Let us see the movie in advance, man.
Right.
And come on the show.
Right, but like, you know, Ridley does Swords and Sandals really well. I mean,
Kingdom of Heaven, the director's cut,
right, like Kingdom of Heaven, Gladiator.
We'll call it the Fox cut. The Fox cut is a piece of shit.
Fox,
two totally different movies.
Fox keeps on fucking him. You know, like you know, when it comes to these edits.
But I mean, I'm gonna tell you, I'm not kidding, folks. It's two totally different movies. Kingdom of Heaven, the Fox cut, and the director's cut.
Like Ridley's cut is
that's one of the best movies ever made. Honestly.
Yeah, no, and it's
like, 4 hours, but you don't feel it.
Right, and it's like I said, Sword and Sandals is epic. Like it's like the definition of epic. You know, like
it's better than Gladiator.
Yeah, I'll give you that. Yeah,
and Gladiator is a great movie.
Yeah. I'll give you that. I'll give you that. So I'm really looking forward to this because it really is one of those directors who can straddle like doing future shit real well and doing past shit real well.
Yeah,
you know. So I'm excited to see what he does with something that has some socio-political leanings beyond, you know, his normal religious overtones.
All right. We'll get into Jackass Forever. I was not expecting this to be poignant.
Yeah.
It's the only problem is it looks funny. I'm gonna see it.
Right.
Only problem is, guess when this comes out?
Oh, it's October, right?
October 22nd, same fucking weekend as Dune. And you know what? I'm sorry, guys. I grew up with Jackass. I've seen all your movies, but if it comes to it, man, we might have to push this like 4 episodes down because I'm just gonna be like, I'm gonna go see Dune. Like I'm probably gonna end up seeing Dune the first 2 weeks, like because I'm going with people the opening weekend. And then I'm going to see it again the next weekend with other people. So
Jackass is going to make its money on the back end. You don't need to see this in a theater.
Like, sorry.
Like that. This is a movie that you can go to Redbox and put it on your TV.
Yeah.
Like you don't need to see this on the largest screen available. I like Jackass. Like I like the TV show a bunch. I wasn't a big fan of the movies. It's just because like it's just more of the TV show.
Oh, the second one was hilarious though.
But I like this. I felt more connected to this one just because it looks like they're older now, and it looks like if they get hurt, they're going to get permanently hurt.
Yeah, I mean,
that does something for me.
They say it. Steve-O says that in the trailer. They're like, "Yo, we're turning 50. We can't do this shit no more." So like, this is right. Obviously the last one. It's called Jackass Forever. Right. Like,
but I want to see like, all right, now there's some real risk.
Yeah,
you know.
So, Malignant is our next trailer from James Wan.
It looks like your basic everyday horror movie. James Wan is probably going to put his foot in it. Is probably going to be at least
he co-wrote it and directed. So I'm giving him the benefit of the doubt.
It's going to be scary, but like the trailer didn't do anything for me. You know, like I'm not going to rush out and see this.
Okay, because this is a HBO Max one. Look.
Is it an HBO Max?
It's
one?
a hybrid.
Okay.
So I'm going to give James Wan his flowers, and I'll see this one in theaters because I'm giving him the benefit of the doubt. But like, I understand why you wouldn't.
Yeah, I mean, if any like in the horror, in this type of horror game, like, and I'm not talking about like slasher or anything like that, but like when it comes to this supernatural shit, James Wan, he's the dude. Like, if anyone can pull it off and make it enjoyable and competent, it's him. I just didn't get anything from the trailer. It's nothing that got me like, oh, I've got to see this.
All right. Well, we'll move on to Army of Thieves. They dropped this. It looks cool. Like it looks better than fucking Army of the Dead.
It looks,
sorry.
Like I love heist shit, and it does look better than Army of the Dead. But here's the thing. I already know that he's going to successfully pull off the heist.
Because it's a prequel.
Because it's a prequel, and also I know that he's dead
In the sequel.
Right, in the sequel. So that takes me out of it. It really does, because like I love the character. Like he was one of my favorite characters.
He is the best character
in Army of the Dead.
Dieter, yeah,
yeah. But like, yes, I want to see a movie with him, but knowing that he's going to die in the next movie, or like whatever, how it works in the timeline. I don't know what the zombie apocalypse timeline is in the Snyder Army of the Dead verse, but it just like it pulls me out of it. Yeah,
fair enough.
Because there's no like I know what's going to happen.
It just looks 10 times better than the fucking.
Oh yeah, it looks fun. It looks like
Army of the Dead,
fun heist movie. I'm going to watch it, but like I'm always going to have that sticking in my craw that like, I mean, there's not going to be any further adventures of Dieter.
All right.
You know?
Well, we got Dexter New Blood. Yeah. I'm glad the dude who created the show came back, because I guess they fucked up. I jumped off a long time ago.
Like, if you haven't watched this show, I think it's 15 years old or something like that. I'm about to spoil it for you. I stopped watching after his wife died.
Oh, okay. See, I stopped. That was season 4. Season 5 with Julia Stiles. People shitted on that one. I liked that season.
Right.
And then I jumped off during season 6, which had Colin Hanks and Mos Def, because that season was so bad. And then from what I understand, it got worse from there. Like it was on for another 2 seasons. And then I was like, all right, let's see how this ended. I remember reading everybody's review and reading the wiki for how the show ended. I was just like, this sounds like some parody shit. Like it seems like somebody wrote this in 5 minutes and just shot it. So now I understand why they're doing this.
Right.
It's a limited series, Dexter New Blood. I'm gonna pirate it because I don't have Showtime, and I can't afford any more streaming shit.
Right. Now I got you. Like I used to love Dexter, and after season 4, when Darla died, I was emotionally devastated. Like I really was. And going into the next season, like after that season finale, I couldn't do it. Like I literally couldn't do it because she was the anchor for the show. Like she was his anchor that kept him kind of human. And without him there, like without her there, like I've got 2 episodes into season 5, and I was like, nah, I can't.
Fair enough.
But this looks competent. It looks like it's. Hopefully they did the character justice and made up for the 3 seasons that it was utter dog shit.
Yeah, I want you to go out on a high note, guys. So we'll move into Blade Runner Black Lotus. This is an anime show coming on Adult Swim. The one thing I will say is that when that first trailer for Blade Runner 2049 came out, that felt like Blade Runner. It looked like Blade Runner. It sounded like Blade Runner. This just seems like any old cyberpunk. It looks like dog shit.
It looks like a cutscene from a video game.
Yes.
From 3 years ago.
Yeah.
The thing is about the aesthetic of Blade Runner, it's future, but it's gritty. It's dirty. Like Los Angeles is a dirty city in the future. This looks so fucking polished, and like everything looks clean. And the animation is not all that impressive.
Because the animated short they put out, that was Blade Runner.
Yeah.
The one that led into the movie and explains why they keep talking about the blackout in 2049. Right. That's the short. That was Blade Runner. This doesn't feel like Blade Runner.
Yeah, like the animation is uninspired.
And they have that pop song the whole time.
Yeah,
I will give it 2 episodes.
Yeah, I'll let you watch the 2 episodes and let me know if I need to watch beyond that. But it looked like any other, like you said, any other cyberpunk anime.
Yeah, it's not Blade Runner.
Right, it's not Blade Runner. And like I said, the animation is uninspired. Like after Love, Sex, and Robots, or Love, Death, and Robots?
Yeah.
Like where we've seen how different animation styles lend themselves to this future story, like sci-fi storytelling. To see this basic bitch sort of animation is like it's not, I'm not impressed.
The storyline's kind of corny too.
And it's like, oh, no, it's a girl on the run. She doesn't know who she is, but she's got all these skills.
And she's a replicant. And,
yeah, I've seen it before. I've seen it before.
All right, Star Trek Prodigy. This is the first Star Trek show for children. It's also not following. This is the first show where it's not following anyone from the Federation. It looks cool.
Yeah. I'm actually surprised they haven't done a Star Trek animated series like this before. I know that we've got the Lower Decks, which I've been meaning to check out. Yeah, isn't that funny?
They did an animated show back in the day, but it's
like I'm not talking the '60s, the original series.
That's still not for kids because it's Star Trek as a cartoon.
Yeah, like I'm not talking about that.
This feels like a kid's show, but like one I want to watch.
Yeah, no, it looks from what I saw interesting enough to like I'll give it a watch because I'm a Star Trek fan.
And Jane Mulgrew is back as Janeway from Voyager.
Oh yeah,
yeah, she's doing the voice.
All right, I didn't even realize that.
Yeah,
all right.
Or I'm sorry, Kate Mulgrew. That's who it is. Yeah, as Captain Janeway. Yeah, she's back.
So they find I guess they find Voyager then, right?
I don't know. I don't know.
We'll see.
Rumor is that it's a hologram.
All right, we'll see.
Yeah.
So this is interesting.
Coming in this fall. It's from Nickelodeon.
Yep. It's going to be on Paramount Plus, though, right? Or is it going to be
Paramount Plus?
Okay.
And then our final trailer is the Addams Family 2. I like the first movie. This one looks like utter shit. Like this seems like a cash grab.
Well, yeah, because the story is uninspired because you always know they didn't have an idea for a sequel, but they wanted to do a sequel
because the first one made money,
right? Because the first one made money. When they go on a road trip, when anyone goes on a road trip in your sequel, you know you didn't have any ideas. It's like, let's take them out of their element.
Yeah.
I was like, I don't need that. Like, I haven't watched the first Addams Family cartoon.
It's on Hulu. It's worth a watch.
I mean, you say it's good. I'll give it a try, but like nothing's going to beat the Raul Julia, Angelica Houston live action.
Yeah, well, that got what the Addams Family was. It's funny. It was kooky.
And it was dark. Like, and
Barry Sonnenfeld put his foot into that.
Yeah, I want to see another live action Addams Family, and I'm excited to see how badly Rob Zombie's going to fuck up the Monsters live action, because I have a feeling it's not going to be good, but at least it's going to be interesting.
Okay, well, I have nothing more to say, so let's get on to our main review.
And now, the moment you've been waiting for, the Film Blurts feature film review.
And here we go. We are talking about, let me get the title right, don't want to fuck it up, Snake Eyes, G.I. Joe Origins. Dun, 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 Origins.
You know, my brother pointed this out, and this was a red flag for me too. There's a few. I'm going to talk about the red flags before we get into the actual review.
I want to talk about. Yes, let's shit on
the first red flag was when the trailer, they announced this movie was still coming out in, what was it? It was like March or April. And we're like, okay, a G.I. Joe movie coming out this soon and we don't have a trailer. Trailer dropped, what was it? June, the beginning of June, which is basically a month before the movie opens.
Right.
And like you said, that teaser didn't really give too much away. And then the second trailer came out, and it was basically a longer version of the teaser where you're just like...
Still didn't give anything away.
Yeah, we're just like, okay. And then last Monday, they put out another trailer, which was basically... I watched the new trailer after I saw the movie. This trailer was basically the second trailer, except with quotes from one site.
Yeah, for what was it like?
Bleeding Cool or something like that. It was something.
bleedingcool.tv.net/CA.
So the next red flag was the social media embargo broke Tuesday.
Right.
For the social media embargo, the first tweet I saw was from a popular YouTuber who we won't say their name. We'll say their so we don't put it
out there. Yeah.
They loved it. They said it's the best movie they saw all year, and I read that, and I was just like,
you'll have to tell me offline who this piece of shit is, who has no taste.
It's somebody that, well, you know what? I will save it for. But yeah, and then I started reading other people's reactions where it's like, it betrays Snake Eyes. This is not the Snake Eyes that we all know. And I was like, guys, relax.
All right,
it's fucking Snake Eyes.
Right. Here's the thing. Betrays. It's you're putting too much stock in what is pretty much a franchise that was a giant commercial. So like it betrays Snake Eyes. Calm down.
Yeah, and I loved that G.I. Joe cartoon when I was a kid. And I read a few G.I. Joe comics.
Right.
So I'm like, yeah, relax.
Right, yeah. It's like I know it's not, we're worried about canon and shit.
They were right. Because like you watch this movie and I could say the biggest fucking problem with this movie.
Everything.
Is Storm Shadow is the hero. Like Storm Shadow is the good guy.
Storm Shadow is the only one with a character arc, because if you take the movie G.I. Joe, like Snake Eyes, G.I. Joe Origins, because you just got to say the whole fucking thing. Snake Eyes, there's no origin for Snake Eyes. He's just Snake Eyes. He starts the movie as fucking Snake Eyes. All right. I want to talk about how there's no fucking training for this dude in the whole entire goddamn movie. Right. All right. So he goes from his inciting incident, with his father, to like, okay, he's a full-fledged, just badass. He's able to wield a fucking katana sword. He can do all sorts of parkour shit. Like he's got no growth. There's no training of him.
Yeah, man. He has one mode, the character, not Henry. And this is what I want to say. Henry Golding's been in shit before this. Like he's been charming. He was in a simple. I think it's a Simple Plan. It was the movie that Paul Feig did with Blake Lively, and he was in that.
Right. He was in
Crazy Rich Asians, and he's
The Gentleman.
Yeah,
he was great in The Gentleman.
He has charisma. He has talent. He has the beauty. He's like the Asian Brad Pitt. Motherfucker, you do not need to do this. Like, absolutely do not need to do this. You don't need a franchise right now, my guy.
It's like, I want to see the script that they gave him, like the bait and switch script. It's like, oh, yeah, here's the script for our new Snake Eyes movie. And he's like, oh, shit, this is so complex. Oh, my God, so nuanced. With the battery acid? They hit him with the battery acid? You mean I'm going to be in the mask for the whole entire... Oh, shit, that really... gives me an acting hard on. And then they gave him the shooting script, which was like, and now you just punch and you give really bad readings of very hollow lines.
Yeah,
this is the movie. This is the fucking movie.
I want to say this too, Andrew Koji. This is my first time seeing you and everything. You overshadowed this movie as Storm Shadow. You don't need to be in this shit either. Right. Like you don't need to do this shit.
So I'm talking to Paramount right now. Just do a Storm Shadow movie.
Here's my question, Paramount. I'm so confused here. I'm so fucking confused. You saved this for theaters. This one,
right? This is the one
you sold without remorse.
You sold the Tomorrow War.
The Tomorrow War is the one you should have put out in fucking theaters. This is one you put in the streaming. The only reason why you kept this in theaters is because it's a fucking G.I. Joe movie. And it's not even a fucking G.I. Joe movie, really.
The G.I. Joe Cobra shit in this movie is the least interesting aspect of the movie. And honestly, they don't even say G.I. Joe until halfway through the movie. And they don't say it again until the end of the movie, where they say it 5 times in a row.
And the Cobra shit doesn't even really come into play until the mid-credit sequence.
And like, all right. And
the mid-credit sequence is so bad.
Right.
You call me Storm Shadow.
And like they foretold that in the earlier in the movie, and it was so just obvious. When who's the head of security? What's that chick is talking to Andrew Koji's character?
You mean the Baroness?
No. Like the head of security for the clan.
Oh, I know who you're talking about. Let me see. It is Akio.
Right. When Akio is talking to Andrew Koji's character, and she's like, I see in your eyes, it's the shadow before the storm. right? And then, yeah, I was like, oh, sorry. So this nigga's gonna be Storm Shadow. Okay, cool, right? And then he shows up at the end of the movie in all white on his motorcycle. It's like, oh, so you're not even gonna try. This nigga's gonna be Storm Shadow.
Yeah, I can't believe that shit. He got on the plane. He's like, you lost an army, but you can gain another. What do you want, Tommy? Don't call me Tommy. You call me Storm Shadow.
Right. So there should have been a moment like that for Snake Eyes. Right? So it was like, what do you want to be called? And it's like, you can call me, and the title comes up, Snake Eyes. Because the title for the movie shows up in the beginning of the movie in the most awkward place. 10 minutes into the movie, and then there's no preamble, there's no music or anything like that. It's just a tracking shot to the ports of LA through Snake Eyes, G.I. Joe Origins.
Can I just say I don't like the fucking title cards in this movie, period. The way the floating title cards that are
at the end, or are you talking about the subtitles?
The subtitles that are part of the environment. Like it just, it's corny.
You know what? J.J. Abrams did it better.
In Fringe.
In Fringe. He did it better in Mission Impossible 3.
You want to know why? Because those movies are good and those movies are already stylized. That's the only style in this movie. This movie has no style because the director, what's his name? Robert Swank?
Whatever the fuck his name is. It doesn't matter.
I don't know.
Smythe.
Here's my question. How the fuck does this guy keep getting fucking work after R.I.P.D.? That brick, that would kill anybody's career. The fact that he got another movie after that. What was it? The Divergent #2. I think it's called Insurgent. He did Red 1.
Right, which, Red was all right.
Yeah, he did Divergent 2 and 3. He did R.I.P.D. He did Red, The Time Traveler's Wife, and his first big noted movie is Flight Plan.
Right, which Flight Plan was...
It was decent thriller,
right.
But like... all the shit that he's done since then has been garbage. So that's his best movie.
Yeah. So
how and why? How and why, guys? Also, you're trying to tell me it took 3 people to write this motherfucking script. 3 people, and it's a writing duo too. It looks like that worked on part of it.
It's written so it's so ham-fisted.
Could you tell what was going on during the fights? Because I had no fucking clue.
Well, that first fight scene in the pit was just the most incoherent, and I get what they were trying to do. It's the same thing Greengrass does in the fucking Bourne Identity.
But you
series.
can at least you can see parts of that shit.
Right, but there's like the choreography.
Yes,
like you can see the geography.
Yes.
and like of the area they're fighting in. This seems like they just put a GoPro on
dude's chest.
It's like, all right, start fighting.
Yeah, man. And that's how every action scene is shot.
Well, not towards the end. The shit on the expressway that was coherent enough. I think that's because they had vehicles.
And the only problem there is all that shit was in the trailer.
Yeah, all that shit was in the trailer. Yeah,
like the best part of the trailer.
Yeah,
and you watch it in the movie, you're just like, sure, man. Like you've seen that done before, better and better movies. Like John Wick did that in John Wick 3, and you're just like, eh.
All right, let's talk about how there's this sense of mysticism that go like all of a sudden this shit becomes magical.
Yeah, where the fuck did all of a sudden the 3 giant anacondas? I was like, wait, this has been so grounded in reality,
right?
And now all of a sudden you're having these giant ass snakes.
You got giant,
with no explanation at all.
Giant anacondas that can feel your heart's emptiness, and then they have the blind master with his floating light that you have to follow and relive childhood trauma.
Yeah.
And it's like, when did this become like fucking Lord of the Rings? When did this become magical?
Yeah. I don't know.
And like, there's no training.
Yeah, he's just a ninja.
He's just a ninja. Like,
all of a sudden.
Like, he's kicking dudes' asses who have trained in this dojo for their entire lives to be ninjas. He's got no training, but he's fucking going toe to toe with motherfuckers. I don't get it.
Guys, this couldn't. this wasn't even a Snake Eyes or a G.I. Joe movie, because the only thing that connects this to G.I. Joe besides Snake Eyes and Storm Shadow are the Baroness and Scarlet, and neither one of those motherfuckers should even be in this movie.
You could cut them out.
They literally crowbar them in. Like
Right.
when Scarlet shows up at the end, I'm like, why are you here? Why are you invested in this fight?
Right.
And
right.
Samara Weaving, she was good in Hide and Seek and Bill and Ted Face the Music. Here, she fucking sucked.
She's horrible.
Yeah, she was horrible.
And whoever played the Baroness, her accent was so...
Ursula Corboro.
Her accent was so heavy. Like, a lot of the accents here are so heavy that you have a hard time understanding what the people are saying. Maybe if you're watching it in a better theater with, like, maybe if you watched it in Dolby Atmos.
No, because I went to go see it in IMAX, because you know, I got the A list and that's free for me.
Right.
I didn't pay money to see this motherfucker. Trust me.
Right.
Yeah. It's still bad, dude.
Yeah. All right. So it wasn't the mix, or it wasn't the mix for my theater. It was the mix in general, where the accents are so thick that the music is kind of overpowering that, and then now you have to listen even harder to what they're saying. I think that could have been fixed in post. I think that could have just been a better mix of the dialogue track to bring that, to make it more distinguishable, because right now it's you can barely hear what they're like, understand what they're saying.
Can we real quick talk about Snake Eyes' costume and how that makes no fucking sense?
All right, so yes, let's fucking talk about the costume, because it's got no bearing on the movie. They don't explain it at all. They just give it to him at the end.
And here's the other thing. Snake Eyes talks. There's we don't understand why he wears the costume for the rest of his life.
Right.
And we don't understand why he's mute. Like, they shouldn't have given him this costume. Maybe that should have been held over for a sequel. And you know what? In context of it, thinking about a cooler story arc, and you could have made this a trilogy, is you have Storm Shadow join G.I. Joe, and because Snake Eyes is a scumbag anyway, have him join Cobra, and then they switch places over the course of a trilogy. Because the way they join the two organizations at the end of the movie, I'm just like, this makes no sense. Tommy wouldn't, as we talked before, Tommy wouldn't join Cobra like that.
Right, he would go on his own or whatever like that.
Right.
And also, fucking Snake Eyes pretty much just gets grandfathered into the organization
because his dad.
Right.
I hate to spoil it for you, but fuck it. Who cares? This movie fucking sucks.
Right.
His dad was a Joe, and that's why he was murdered.
You want to know how subtle this movie is and how nuanced it is? When Samara Weaving shows up at the end and just pretty much gives the explanation for the whole entire movie. She's got a file on Snake Eyes' dad, and it goes, and like at the bottom of the folder, the operation is called Operation Birthright. I was like, oh, so you were just born to be a Joe? Like, your dad owned a dealership, and it's yours now.
Yeah, man. Thankfully, this will not be getting a sequel. This opened to $13 million. The budget was $88 million before marketing. So after marketing, it might be 110, 120. Y'all spent a lot of money on some bullshit. Like, y'all should have really put your... I don't understand how this got released into Tomorrow War wasn't. Like,
right.
And the saddest part about this is the second best G.I. Joe movie.
And we hate this movie.
Yeah.
Right? So the fact that this is the second best G.I. Joe movie, but still horrible, tells you what we're working with.
Yeah. Yeah. Because at least Stephen Summers' first G.I. Joe movie, you had Channing Tatum, Rachel Nichols, Marlon Wayans, and that Paris sequence. Yeah. Like, there's nothing in this that even comes remotely close to the Paris sequence.
I mean, maybe... Oh, that's right. I forgot about the Mystic Rock. I forgot all about the Mystic Rock.
Yeah, that was blowing up buildings. Yeah, man.
It's fucking.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, it's.
The only thing I can say is not Retaliation. Retaliation's a big piece of shit. But you know what? Even Retaliation
had
had
The
that.
Rock. At least Retaliation had The Rock.
But no, I was gonna say the mountain sequence with Storm Shadow
and like the Snake Eyes where they're fighting on the side of
on the mountain. Yeah,
Right.
at least that had shit. This might be the worst one.
Yeah, I mean, it's
Well, you know what? Maybe I don't know. I don't want to ever rewatch Retaliation. I never want to rewatch this. So,
and the jokes fell so flat in this.
yeah.
It's like Hardmaster and Hardmaster and Blind Master, Iko Uwais
From the raid.
from the
is
raid
Hardmaster.
is Hardmaster, and
I forget dude's name, but he's been in shit.
right is Blind Master.
All
They're
right.
totally underutilized.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Hold on. It is Peter Mensa as Blind Master. He's
right.
been in a lot.
but like no, the jokes fall so flat.
Yeah, man.
And they never explain the costume. He just get like, does the helmet have some sensory shit in it or anything like that, or it just hasn't like it just slides down.
This could have been literally any generic
Anything.
Amazon or Netflix movie if you take out all the G.I. Joe shit. Like if you took out the costumes and Cobra and you took out Baroness and Scarlet, this just would have been your average Netflix movie, and I would have watched it on Netflix and been like, okay, cool. You know what I mean? But the fact that pisses me off is like I had to put effort into seeing this shit.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I could dissect this for hours. How bad this movie, and then there's at the end with the title cards, it's all like Japanese
with the music,
with the music
intercut with the Japanese drumming and the dancing. Yeah,
Right.
yeah.
I was like, is
this supposed to get me psyched up for a sequel?
right, is Henry Golding even Japanese?
No, I forget what he's Canadian. I think. Yeah, Henry Golding, I think, is Canadian, man.
Is he like Korean or is he Chinese?
I don't know, but so he was born in Malaysia. Oh shit, man, we're almost the same age. Fuck, man, I gotta get in. Man.
Well, it's those Canadian genes, man. Those Malaysian genes.
Yeah, he was born in Malaysia, so he is a native of Malaysia, and his father is British, so he's half Malaysian, half British.
Let's also talk about that. How Henry Golding's British accent just kind of slips in and out throughout, because he's got this American sort of accent throughout. Yeah. So you'll notice that, like.
Oh, real quick, before we go and wrap up this show, we got to bring this back around to the racial aspect, because people are pissed that Henry Golden, who's Asian, is fucking Snake Eyes. And guess what? Snake Eyes was created by a Japanese dude. Snake Eyes never talks.
You never see Snake Eyes' face.
Yeah. So who the fuck is Snake Eyes? Who cares? Henry Golding's a great actor. This is the least of this movie's fucking problems.
Right. I mean, it would have been more interesting if he didn't talk throughout the whole entire fucking movie.
Yeah, honestly. Like, that would make sense. This traumatized him so bad, he just became a mute.
Right. Now, I just, ugh.
Yeah, man, see? Y'all motherfuckers get hung up on the wrong shit, man.
Right.
Y'all letting y'all racism run rampant.
Like, your privilege is showing. Like, Storm Shadow, fucking, Snake Eyes is definitely white. It's like, but you've never seen him and you've never heard his voice. So,
Yeah.
Snake Eyes could literally be a woman. It could be a fucking African woman for all we know.
Who gives a shit?
Yeah, it's dumb.
Yeah.
It's dumb, and you're putting your energy into dumb shit because you're dumb. And I hate you.
Think about what you have done with your life. Think about that. Think real hard. Think real hard.
Right. It's like, this is the thing. This is the hill you're going to die on.
So that's episode 14.
Knowing is half the battle.
Yo, Joe. We're the Film Blurs. I'm Brandon Norwood, and I'm the motherfucking protagonist.
I'm the protagonist.
I'm Jeff Stewart, a.k.a. He Who Remains.
Don't come at us. It's just fucking movies.
You've been listening to the Film Blurs podcast.
Man, I just love what you guys do, man.
I never miss an episode. It's the best. It's my favorite podcast.
Follow Jeff on IG on MindFireXL and Brandon on Twitter at BJN Tweets.